now. So we are going to go ahead and get started with, we're going to talk about breakthrough moments today on Monday Masterclass. So every Monday we try to bring something that helps you in your business, helps you show up well in this thing that you've committed to. And hopefully we all work together really well to say what's going on, be really honest, speak up when something, you identify with or you have a question about. This is really a masterclass for y'all. Becky and I are just facilitating it. So Beck, do you want me to kick off really talking about breakthrough moments, or do you want to kick it off?
I'm happy to kick it off. Andrea and I were perusing, okay, what do people need to hear? What do we need to work on? And I was just confessing to Andrea, sometimes an end of the month can really flatline me if I let it. And that's because I just want to remind you guys, like, this is a sales position, okay? But it's also a highly relational position. So those two things don't always go together. And that means that a really high level of self-awareness is necessary to do this job. And sometimes I can let myself get into, I can let self-awareness become like, it's not even selfishness, but I would just say like too much of a self-focus. I don't know if you've ever sensed that where you're like, oh my gosh, every single one of my thoughts right now is just me, 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 me. And that's usually when I know I'm not doing great. So we started talking about breakthrough moments and how great it would be to share some of them. And also if you guys are open to share some of yours. And if you're newer to the business and you're like, uh-oh, what does this mean that really seasoned people are having breakthrough moments? I want to turn you on to someone named Bob Heilig. He's a longtime network marketer and network marketing coach. And he says really often that network marketing is God's assignment to you for growth. And I really believe that. I think I was a therapist for like over a decade before I got involved with Plexus. And I'm telling you right now, the work that I have had to do in Plexus is so much more than I had to do even as a therapist, because the job can feel so personal. And I'll tell you right now, like I just can see even just a few of you guys on the call, and I know a lot of your stories where you've had to go through and experience a breakthrough in order to move forward in your business. So what Andrea and I wanted to do is normalize the fact that you're gonna have to do personal work. In fact, what breaks my heart so much is when I see really amazing people grow in their Plexus business and they work right up until the tension where their personal like growth work meets with like the pressures and the hardships of life, and then they quit. And it's typically because, and this is not condemnation, please hear me out in no way, shape, or form. It's either because it's really too hard to get through the breakthrough, or maybe something's going on in life that they're like, I know I've got a mindset thing, but I literally have no bandwidth to apply to it right now. Or they're kind of like emotionally unaware that the biggest problem is inside or inside. I'll say it here. So one thing we wanted to do is normalize the fact that you're going to go through seasons in this business, especially if you're in growth, where you're going to have breakthrough moments. And I know we wanted to share a couple of our own, but really the key thing that we want you to take away is some action steps to help walk yourself through seasons of breakthrough and what it's going to require.
Yeah, so I think one of the things is understanding that a breakthrough moment is kind of like when it clicks. Like, oh, like you see a shift in your business, usually for the good, but also it can be a little bit of like a downshift. And you're like, oh, if I don't, then this is the result of it. And I think that there's like you can kind of have a breakthrough moment either direction. Like I would say for me, like when I think breakthrough moment, mine's like positive of like, oh, I went fast start gold. If I want this to continue to grow, I'm going to have to level up leadership. I'm going to have to lead my own calls. I'm going to have to do my own events. Like like I'm going to have to like literally kick it into the next gear if I want this to happen. And for some people, and we will hear from some people, I think today, that say, all of a sudden I realized I took my foot off the gas to kind of see like what would happen. And my business started to backslide a little bit because I wasn't the person. And I realized, oh my gosh, I have to put my foot back on the gas, but then I have to put some things in place so that if I take my foot back off the gas again, it continues to run at this, same pace. So I think there's different breakthrough moments. And I want to read you through just a couple of them, a couple of different breakthroughs that you could have had in case you're like, well, I don't know if I've had a breakthrough. Like, let's cover some breakthrough moments. A mindset shift. So seeing yourself as a true business owner, not just someone trying the business. Like you might have actually gone from like hobby to business owner at some point in this journey, or you might if you're not there yet. Leadership realization, just understanding that it isn't about selling, like solely. It's not solely about selling, like what Beck just said. There's a relationship part of it, but part of that relationship is leading people to their breakthroughs, to their next steps, and realizing that you have to step up, whoever you are and whatever rank you are, to help your people do that. Not always making somebody else be that leader. Personal success milestones is, signing your first business builder, like the first person who actually wants to build alongside you. Rank, it may be a certain rank for you. Like I'll say, my first what felt like a big rank was Fast Start Gold. We didn't know it was gold, but people were telling me it was really great that I'd gone gold in 6 weeks. And I thought, okay, well, in that case, I want that feeling to continue. So what do I need to do to keep that feeling of being like proud of myself and proud of my work? Um, Earning a certain paycheck. Like, is there a paycheck for you like that was like, oh my gosh, I just crossed $500. Oh my gosh, there's $100 more than what I paid in Plexus products this month for my triplex and my active or whatever. And I've made $100 more than what I'm spending. Maybe it was $1,000. If you ever hit in 1 month $1,000 with Plexus and you're like, this covers our car payment and I have money to put away. So it could just be like that, like thing I remember the month that my husband said, let's put half of your paychecks away for a 10-year, goal, like not thinking it would happen right, soon, but thinking, oh my gosh, half of my paychecks are going to make a dent in something big for our family. Like that's impressive that was impressive to me, for me, as a stay-at-home mom of 3 kids. Okay, so then the next one could be a duplication moment. Like when the first time that you see somebody go silver on your team. I had my level 1 go silver before me. So my sister actually signed up the day after me and went silver before I did. And that made me want to chase that. So was there somebody on your team that you can see duplicating? And that is like the light bulb moment of, oh, this is like a thing. We're off to the races. And I don't mean races as in it's a sprint and we're about to hit diamond. I mean like off to the races, like this actually works. And then a viral or a high impact post or conversation, like you either, did a reel that felt like it went about Plexus, or something that felt like it went viral, or you got reshared by someone. Whatever it is there a moment that feels like, oh, this conversation with this person feels like a game changer for the next level? So I just want to stop, and I would love for anyone to share examples of things that you feel like where you have been a this isn't like a game changing, it's like a breakthrough moment. It's like, oh, this is like leveling just a step up. Like I'm taking this from here to here, not from here to here. There's like, it's a step up. What felt like that for you?
I earned Leaders Retreats, one of, I think, I don't remember how many years I was in, like 2 or 3 years as a silver. And earning it as a silver, it like, I don't know, it gave me so much belief that you don't have to be at the top of the company, that it was possible. So
Ivy, can I just ask you a question? Because that's obviously like an early breakthrough moment for you. What was the breakthrough moment when you kind of came back?
That was just a little nudge in my heart. God, saying, no, this is what you need to do. And it's saying, okay. And then just having people coming to me about it. I don't know. I guess I'm in a season right now. And so when y'all were saying you don't know what your breakthrough is, that was for me because I was sitting here with a toddler crying, trying to think, oh, what has been my breakthrough lately? But
The only
yeah.
reason I ask that is because I think sometimes we tell our, and sometimes breakthrough moments are huge, right? Like when Andrea asked about the paycheck, like I'll never forget when Plexus covered my mortgage, and it was like, boom, oh wow, what's possible with this? But I also just want to say that when people have been kind of out and they come back, that's a massive breakthrough that doesn't have any clues by it. Like you just saying you felt a nudge from God to get back to it. I just want to say, I think that those kind of breakthroughs are just as crucial and important when you're like following the breadcrumbs, and you're like, man, I need something to hold on to. So, of course, I think it's incredible to earn Leaders Retreat as a silver. That's your first rank, by the way, in Plexus silver. That's such a huge deal. But as crucial is your nudge that you paid attention to and followed through on, right? Who else?
Okay, so I'm living the Plexus life and taking my kids to the zoo because I worked this morning. Sorry, we're walking in, but I wanted to be on, and I think this is perfect. I definitely, like Andrea mentioned, people who have like taken their foot off the gas and then have to like re-engage. That's definitely my story. It's okay. And I would say I think my aha moment might have been that no one could tell me, like there was no magic. I remember Andrea asked me, like, what do you think someone could have said to you? Like a magic phrase someone could have said to you previously that would have like made the light bulb come on. And I'm like, there just wasn't one. I don't think anyone could have said anything to me until I got to the point and just, like you said, like face the hard facts, like the tension, the reality, like this has to come from me. Like it has to be internally motivated and driven, and the commitment has to be my commitment, not someone else's. And that is what, like, I mean, I went probably 2 years without adding anyone, and then December added 6 or 7 people, and again in January, and points are going up, which that hasn't happened in a while. And so I think it just goes back to like looking in the mirror and realizing like it had to come from me. And also full disclosure, like I did a lot of praying over my business in December and January, and like prayed before I sent out an email to all the old people, and none of them came back, but the Lord brought other people. And so for me, that's part of it too, just like being really trusting to the Lord, like I will do the work if you will bless my efforts. So I'm going to turn my camera back off.
So good. I'm so glad you said something, Amber, because I was like, oh, Amber's on this call. Oh, I hope she said something. And yes, you're living Plexus freedom because you're taking your children to the zoo after you've worked. That's real freedom. Andrea, do you have anything to add to what Amber said?
Well, I think, I mean, it goes back to what you said at the beginning too, right? Like there's self-awareness involved in realizing that here's the thing. I think every single one, there isn't a person on this call because why would you spend an hour on a Monday at noon on this call if you didn't want to increase your paycheck? If you weren't like, okay, our family could use this, or we need to fill this gap, or I want God to bless, the work of my hand, and I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, or this is, where I give to missions. There's a million different things. And none of them are selfish. Like, let's just say, like, if you need to pay your mortgage and pay your health insurance bill, and I'm trying to think of all the things we've had to pay this month that just have felt huge, or, property taxes. Those are not selfish things. Those are part of life. And this is a way that we can do it and still take our kids to the zoo and still cuddle a toddler like Ivy's doing and still have a kid home from school sick today like what I have. And I just think like it is a business that allows us to live our lives so fully and be able to contribute to the financial needs or the savings or whatever security needs of your family. Like, I think it can be both. But you do have to look in the mirror and say, what part of my business is on me? What part of this am I not showing up for? Am I not allowing a mindset shift? Am I actually blocking my own mindset shift? Am I actually choosing not to step into leadership out of fear? I was listening to Jordan Roddenberry talk on her stories this morning, and she said the reason people don't do this isn't because of all the we offer great freedom, we offer great income, we offer so many great things. They are so scared that it's not going to work if they step into it that they don't. And how many of us already have our feet firmly planted in plexus and aren't willing to take the next step in our business because, and part of that is leadership, because what if it doesn't work? What if no one listens? What if no one follows? What if no one duplicates? So then we don't even try. So how much of that is on you? Personal success milestones, you can only do so much, but are you doing, Becky, how many times have you heard someone say, and or said yourself, maybe, I'm doing all the things? Because I would generally say we've all said it, lied, but we've said it and we've heard it because we've done all the comfortable things. We've done all the things on the short list of, I would even say last month, I did all the things. I did not do all the things. I am not, there's a list over here. I did not touch last month, even though I keep talking about it. Does that make sense? Like, I know that I'm not doing all the things. The duplication moments, like what conversations are you not having for fear of how that conversation will go? So I want to walk through a few limiting beliefs, because I think sometimes what happens is we get into limiting beliefs in our brain, and then we can't flip those over. And because we can't flip them over, we don't actually step into our breakthrough moments. Like that step is like right there. Just a visual I have real fast. Our oldest has cerebral palsy, and she, like, to climb stairs, she has to have someone behind her. For her to lift up her leg to touch that next step, there has to be a verbal command. I had to say, Ella, lift your foot. And then she lifts her, okay, put your foot down. Okay, now the next thing is like I had to walk her through walking up the stairs. You're going to have to walk yourself up the stairs and have like verbally walk yourself through it until you have muscle memory of what that next step looks like. And so I just want to walk you through a few things that may be keeping you don't even know it, but keeping you from actually taking that step. Because you're like, well, and it's like almost a quiet, it's amazing how Satan puts these quiet whispers in our head that we don't even know are there until someone identifies them. So the first thing is, I'm not a salesperson. So Becky talked about the fact this is a sales business. This is sales. We are selling plexus. We are selling probiotics. We are selling gut health. We are selling health freedom from, the pain of all of the things that go along with not taking care of your body. But also we sell a business that offers time freedom and financial freedom and, marriage problem freedoms, like a bunch of different things, right? Because finances and health cover so many things. So a flip to that is that you talk to yourself about sharing, not selling. And that doesn't mean that we're not selling. We are, but if you think of it in the filter of sharing, I am sharing a migraine story today. I am sharing a health freedom story today. I am sharing a financial freedom story today. And I'm not saying that when you share it, people are going to be like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this story. Thank you for sharing. Can I please have your link? And your Facebook feed just blows up. It is your responsibility to share. And then as you share, people will message you and go, okay, tell me a little bit more about this, or I've been meaning to reach out to you. That's where the selling actually comes in. but you have to share first, I think, before you can start selling. Before you can have that sales conversation with somebody, you have to have shared enough content this week, not 3 years ago, not 11 years ago, not even a week ago. It has to be right now. It has to be constantly on their feed for them to see it. So are you showing up there? Okay. The next thing is I don't know enough. I will never, ever know enough about Probio 5 to feel like an expert, ever. It does not sit in my brain. My brain holds all kinds of really weird, random facts and information about people. Ask Becky, it's like this weird Rolodex of people. However, I've been using and talking about Probio 5 for 11, almost 12 years, and I cannot tell you a whole lot about it. I have looked up all the strains. I have looked up all the ingredients. I have researched it. It does not stick in my brain. It does not matter because I believe so like in my bones that Probio 5 is amazing at what it does, that I can share the stories of that. So I just want you to say, if you don't know enough about the comp plan, don't worry about it. Someone else does. It took me about to the rank of Ruby or Senior Ruby to figure out the order of all of the silver through Senior Ruby and then the jewels and why gems and jewels were. It took me a long time. It took me 3 months to get my subscription figured out. I would not get orders and not get, like, my paycheck would be like, you don't have a paycheck yet. And I'd be like, I need to figure out how to get, like, it was all the things I had to figure out. If you don't know enough, keep going. You will figure out some things and you will figure out the workarounds on the things you don't know. There are workarounds to everything you don't know. No one will listen to me. And then I want you to remember that people trust real people. People trust people that pour into them, that share all kinds of different things, like learning things when you learn out loud, whether it's about gut health or it's about financial health or it's about, mental health, whatever it is, whatever you're sharing, people will trust real people. So are you showing up in real ways? But this isn't, I will say, do not follow me if you are someone that, like, don't follow in my footsteps if you're someone that doesn't want to share every aspect of your life and think, oh my gosh, I'm not sharing every aspect of my life like Andrea, therefore this won't work. Becky doesn't share every aspect of her life nearly like what I do. I mean, and so, but she shares the fun parts of her life and the beautiful parts of her backyard and the sweet moments with her kids and funny things that Mary does. And there is still different ways to share your life without sharing like every in and out aspect and heartbreak that, is happening. So I do think that people share with people they feel like they really like, know, and trust. Do people like you because they know you and they'll trust you because they feel like they're part of your community, even if you've never met? How are you bringing people in? The next one is that people will judge me, and shift your focus to say, who can you help, not who might judge. Like, take all the people that you think are going to judge you and just put them in a little like pen over here and only focus on the people that you're like, I'm just trying to help you. Sally over here is going to judge me. I hope Sally's on the call. Okay, Sally's on the call. But Sally over here is going to judge me, and that's just who she is. Like, that's just her thing. I really want to help Lisa. So my focus is going to be helping the Lisas of this world and not catering to the Sallys that don't get it. And you're going to have to do a mindset shift with that. Okay. I don't have time. People work in small intentional pockets. Most people either worked with small children climbing all over them all day long, or worked this while working another job. Very few people ranked up high in the company with just 9 hours a day to focus solely on plexus. I actually think it works better if you're really, really busy and you find pockets of time, instead of having all the time in the world to get all the things done and actually never getting them done, because you're more intentional, I think, when you have small pockets of time. And we've just watched that happen year after year. I'm not a leader. Leadership is about showing up. It is not about perfection. I am in no way, shape, or form do I feel like someone would go, oh, you want to know what a great leader looks like? Oh, look at Andrea Mitchell. I just think I show up. I show up because I feel like I want y'all to be as successful as you can be. And I literally show up for you to like pour out every thought I have about this business. I want you to have it and then do with it whatever you want. I just want to show up so that you know every call that's happening. You know every script that's out there for people to share. You know the challenge groups that are happening if you want to add someone to it. Like I show up for you. So my question would be, who are you showing up for? Like who are you leading right now? And you might only be leading yourself, and get really, really good at leading yourself, because yourself is going to show up hopefully in your next brand ambassador, and you're going to need to be able to lead that person too. So where are you leading yourself really well? Success takes too long. It does, because you never really reach it. I don't really think you ever reach like the end of what your mile marker is going to move. It just does. You start out thinking you're going to run a 1 mile fun run, and then all of a sudden you're running a 5K, and then also that's turned into a 10K, and then somehow you're running a half marathon, and then you're running it just doesn't matter what rank you're going for, or what income graphic or income bracket you're going for, or whatever. I just think that it does change, because you go, oh, this is fun. Oh, I'm actually good at this. Oh, I have people running with me. I have people cheering me on. And as you get to each one of those things, the race just becomes longer and more intense. So I don't really think you ever, like, I would say you cross many finish lines. Like there are little finish lines all along the way, and there's a million of them, and it could be Ivy's leaders retreat, and it could be your $1,000 check. And those are all finish lines, but that lead into the next, race, because you've had so much fun doing this one. Don't want to bother people. That's where you get to choose if you're offering value every day. And I would say the same way that people do a gratitude journal, like, where did you offer value today? Where on social media did I offer value today? It was in this. It was this reel. It was this caption. It was this comment on someone else's post. It was sharing a link that someone, said, does anyone know where? Yep, I got it. And you showed up in someone else's captions or stories. And so I just think, like, where are you offering value today? And if you can write something down every day where you offered value, I think that will make you feel like you're not bothering people. It's already saturated, which isn't true. We have people blowing up all over the country. Like there are people who have never heard of Plexus. There are people, I live in Dallas, which is a massive city. And I promise you, if I walk door to door, I bet 50% of my neighbors literally outside my window have never heard of Plexus, because I'm not friends with them. They don't follow me on social media. No one's talking to them about it. Like there are just people that have never heard of it. And then last one is, I'm not good at social media. And I just think that is something that you just have to be real and consistent with. And you may never feel really good at it. I've been doing so. I went from blogging to Facebooking to Instagramming, and I've never felt good at it. I've just known that I enjoy showing up, 300 out of 365 days a year. There's probably a few days every month that I don't really want to show up all that well. And then all the other ones, I really love it. So find parts of it that you love. Okay. I feel like I talked a lot. Where in that do you feel like you get stuck? I would love to hear from some different people. Where in that list did you like write down, or did it kind of like gut punch you? What felt, and I'm going to mute myself. So tell me where you felt like that's your limiting belief.
I think for me, it's I don't know enough, and success takes time. I've had to work mindset wise on both of those a lot.
What's your biggest mind switch on those things? Like when you find yourself thinking those, how do you actually flip the switch?
Success takes time. I've had to stop comparing my journey with anybody else's, because it's my own, whatever God's doing through me through this is my own thing. So I used to get really caught up in my head, like, I went to gold. I went to gold in 6 weeks. It took me a year to go to gold, so but I had to really like, well, that's the journey that God put Andrea on, not me. And and if I have to look back to see how much I've been refined and grown through all of this, um, to really see that as the mile markers along the way. That I don't know enough has been a recent thing, because I think I had gotten to a point of like, I don't know what else to do, kind of a thing. Not necessarily about I don't know enough about the products or stuff like that. Um, but I got to a new level up, which feels uncomfortable because it's new, so you're doing new things. And I wrote it in our thread. I had an aha moment that I wasn't trusting God with my business. I thought I was, but I really wasn't. And that I had to know all the things and I had to do all the things. And it was on my lap. But really, the whole time, he's like, when are you going to give this to me? And then that really has, and that's still working on it. Like, I have to continuously like flip the switch and trust, where he's guiding me. I doing the same thing. I'm praying before everything. I am asking him, is this the right thing? Is this the right time? Like, you tell me. And I posted on our thing, like, this is the first year I've been leaders retreat since the first year I started. First one I'll get to go on because the first one was canceled. And I literally was like, hey, God, what do you want me to do today? And then there was like times where I feel like the urgency. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do this post and I got to reach out to this person. And then I'm going to throw a promo. And he's like, no, you're not. And like, I really wanted to, because I'm like, but I have to. There was a season where I was 2 people away. He's like, are you going to trust me with this or not? I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he really wanted me to do what he was telling me to do. And then I earned it. I didn't earn it burnt out and stressed. I just earned it. So yeah, that's really been a cool thing.
The quote, I earned it without being burned out or stressed, might be my very favorite quote of the entire call. Like, yes, and amen to hit a rank, to hit a contest, to feel like you've hit success without feeling burned, like you literally blood, sweat, and tears on the floor, like I have nothing left to give, like that you could wake up the next day and be like, okay, let's do it again. Convention contest starts. Let's just keep going. Like, we don't have to like start all, oh, like it doesn't feel so dramatic. It feels healthy. It feels healthy, Christy. And that is, I mean, golly, if we could all just go back to the moments that were like, if I could have just done this healthy, like I might have been able to continue as opposed to like being fried out. So that's amazing. I love that so much. Okay, I want to give us plenty of time to get through some practicality. The first thing I want you to do is just take a couple of minutes. We're going to take like 3 minutes to write down a specific area in your business where you need a breakthrough. Customer acquisition, duplications and rank ups, social media, like all the things that we've talked about. Like, what are some areas that you feel like, what is one specific area that you're like, this is the area that I need really the most growth in, and that I really need to have a breakthrough moment in. Okay. Okay, thanks, Sarah, for writing that out. And then I wrote mine out. And Stephanie, I see that you are writing yours out too. I think it's helpful for people to see um like what you're like where you need a breakthrough because other people are like, oh, that's okay. Me too. Yeah, that's or it's good wording sometimes. Sometimes you can't put your thoughts into words. And then you read someone else's words and you're like, that is how I feel, or that helps me word it myself. So I think it's really important for you to write it down. I mean, you can write it in the chat if you want to. I think it's great for the group, but um, I think writing it down for yourself is just as important that you've actually written it down somewhere. That you haven't just been like this word, but that you actually like write. Like I wrote down like 3 lines, like sentences. Like I think it's important that you actually like brain dump that thought. Okay, let's get into action because I think action will solve a lot of problems. I'm a big action item fan, and we went through a lot of the breakthrough stuff, and then I was like, we're going to need some action items. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to send message, and it's a perfect day. I'm so glad that Plexus decided to do the Meet Plexus calls on Monday nights because it's perfectly timed for after our Monday masterclass. I'm sure that's why they did it because they saw masterclass was so impressive. They decided to just do their corporate calls on Monday nights. But we're going to reach out to 5 people about the call tonight. So I'm guessing everybody is in Rally Chat, and I think it's just helpful if we stick to the tools that we have. So Rally Chat has post a picture of yourself, so you can do this, but I think it's reaching out to people about tonight's call. I'm trying to see if there's a graphic. I mean, a verbiage. Oh, so proud of your invite your people working to Rally Chat. Do we have scripting for tonight? It's called. Does anyone have a script that they've been using to invite people to tonight's call? I'm gonna look in the chat and see if someone dropped something in there. If not, I can go back to last Monday's.
There's one in Rally Chat.
There is one for today's
Yeah.
Rally Chat?
If you, yeah, February 3rd. It's after the pictures of, it's after the Meet Britain, the whatever, the story graphics. It says, invite your people to working
Oh, here it is.
to Rally Chat. It's not to the calls, but you can make it to adjust it to make it about the calls.
Yeah. I think it's perfect too. So just getting in conversation with people about tonight. And I really think it's great if you ask them a question like, hey, if I could, in 15 minutes, if I could have other people explain Plexus a little bit better to you than I can, would you be willing to listen? Okay, 5 people. Let's go. See you in a minute. Okay. Those are your 5 for to kind of get you started. So at least you've got like kind of a runway of, okay, I've at least started the process. So I want to challenge you to a couple of things. I want you to write these down, and I'm going to put them in the table as well, but write them down. So getting 5 people on the call tonight. So you may have to send a lot of invitations. You may have to send have a lot of conversations, current customers, current VIPs, current brand ambassadors. Like, I think the people in your back office for sure count, but then also if you have some people in your funnel that are potentials that you see a lot of desire to, help them, those would be on there too. And then 2 follow-ups with current leads, like just following up, even if it's not a call about tonight, even if it's not a message about tonight, that you have 2 current people that you are in conversation with, and that you are just continuing that conversation, that volley conversation. Um, and I would say at least 1 bold invite with someone that you've been hesitant to talk to about Plexus. So drop the person that scares you, not the person that scares you the most, because none of us are going to message that person, but a person that you're like, they are on my list. I could message them. It's a little harder than maybe everybody else, but I want to actually invite them to a call tonight. Who would that person be for you? I'm going to give you like a minute because I have to think about it. Okay. I think it's really good for everyone to know at least 1 person that they're like, okay, it's this person. This is the person I'm going to. Um, like, that's the message that you send, and then you go do something else. You're like, I'm just going to send it. I did it. And I do think they need to be voice messages, because then they can hear your intentions and you can actually talk like you instead of having to rewrite it 4 times because you're like, is that the word I want to use? I'm not sure. So I really want to challenge you to that. Okay. I think sharing your breakthrough story here is really important. Sharing it somewhere, whether you're sharing it with your husband, you're sharing it with your sideline, you're sharing it with your upline today, your sponsor, that you actually share, like, here's kind of where my breakthrough is, or here's where I need a breakthrough. This is where I feel stuck. But I think knowing where you hit a challenge, you overcame it, the action that you took, the result that came from it is really important. So I want to challenge you at some point today. I do think if you are willing to share it on your Instagram stories, it's a really great place. If you haven't yet, you can go follow Jordan Roddenberry. She on Instagram is No Shame in My Mama Game on Instagram. But she kind of talks a little bit about all the things I talked about with the fear and things like that. And it's a really good way to do a story. So if you just want to get an example of like, oh yeah, I like the way she did that. That connects with me. I think if I did something similar, it would connect with my audience. I really think it's a great way to do it. Okay, then growing your network. So let's do this. We have like 5 minutes left. Take 5 minutes, which we're not going to do all 5 minutes, but maybe 2 minutes, and add a new friend on Facebook or Instagram, and they cannot be a Plexus ambassador. If your friend request list looks like 700 mutual friends with every single person on there, I would just say don't. I usually wait and actually accept a friend request when I need to message that person, or if I want to tag them and they're like, oh, you're not friends, but they're pending in because you only have 5,000 spots. Not that you might be close, but you don't want to fill it up with all Plexus people, because then that's all you'll see on your feed. So I really want to challenge you. Let's go all add 1 Facebook friend or Instagram friend. If you follow them on Instagram, then it has to be someone you're willing to message. It can't just be like, go follow, Beyonce because you need a new, person to follow. Go follow someone you're actually going to message about Plexus, or friend, whatever. If you need some ideas on where to find someone, we have a mom's group just in our neighborhood. So I just went to that and tried to kind of follow along with people who like I wanted to comment on what they were saying. And therefore I can move that conversation of, hey, I saw that you posted this in the mom's group. You know, why are you having that problem? Why are you feeling that way? You know, I have a book on that if you want me to drop it on your front porch. You know, like actually moving into conversation with the person that you just friend requested or followed on Instagram is really, really important. Like, hey, I saw that your Instagram feed, your bio talks about this. Like, Chrissy, I'm just gonna throw you out there. Like, your bio talks about mold detoxifying your house. I would love to see what resources that you have. You know, just like grabbing something out of the sky. But if you had something like Stephanie, if you were like, oh, I see that you are musical and that, you know, these instruments are really, you know, like your core, like, what do you do with XYZ or whatever? Like you have a question, you would actually ask that person about that thing. I think that's really, really important. And the conversation can literally stop there. Like if you literally reach out to them and say, hey, can I drop this off on your porch? Or, hey, I have one of those, you can just pick it up on my porch. That's the end of the conversation, but you've now gotten into messages with that person. Now the next time they message you, they're like, oh, we've had a conversation before. I don't feel as weird about reaching out and saying, yeah, I'm kind of interested. Could you send me the link to that? Because there's some history of message in there. Okay. Making sure I give y'all everything. Yeah. Oh, identifying one team member or a customer, if you have a VIP customer that you want to partner with this week for accountability. And I just want to say, like, there's some stuff, I think it's public, but if it's not, I'm going to go ahead and make it public to y'all. Tomorrow, reset is a percentage off. Does anybody remember how much? 25% off? Everyone's staring at me like I'm crazy. Hold, please. Tomorrow, and I'm talking for everyone, like this applies to you. If you are listening to this, you get reset percentage off. 25%. Thank you, Rhonda. I think it's 25% too. I'm gonna double check because that's what we do, right? It's supposed to be a secret, but then someone said it was actually in the ambassador community, so I'm gonna say the secret got out. Oh, it's my face on the secret. Yes, current brand ambassadors and VIP retail customers, so everyone in your back office, including you, it's 25% off a reset tomorrow. So you put a reset in your cart, then you use reset 25 and you get 25% off of a reset. And if you are listening to this and you're on the table, or Jewel Heist or any of the other team pages on our team, then you also are part of a January challenge, bingo challenge for February. And the first part of that is going to start on the 10th with a reset. So go ahead and everybody grab your resets tomorrow and get your whole team to grab a reset. And if you have like, if you are like, oh, whenever you do restore, make sure that you drink your blueberry hydrate, which I just had to tell somebody to do, then make sure that they grab a bag of hydrate. Like all of those things kind of go in that cart. That's I would put it all in one cart. You can only have one per order. And these are not for subscriptions. These are only for discretionary. So you're going to go in and you're just going to pay 75% for a reset, which is really great because they haven't been doing it for current people. So this is going to open up some conversation. Okay, I think that's good. Anything that I missed, Beck? Yes, no, I missed nothing. Okay. Does anyone feel like they had a little bit of a breakthrough on this call? We have like a few minutes left, and I would love to hear if there's on this call in the last hour that we've been talking, if you feel like, oh, switch flipped. Or do you need a breakthrough in a certain area today that we can pray over?
I have 2 calls for potential business builders tonight and tomorrow. And I'm in my I already texted Becky. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna do this, 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 and this. This is okay. Is this too much? All the things. So I have to write it out and then just pray about it. Angie said something one time. He says you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So I keep telling myself that.
True. And ask questions. Ask questions more than you talk. Anybody else? Okay. Make sure you're celebrating yourself, every little thing, and message someone. If you feel like you have a small breakthrough, big, small, medium, whatever, message Becky, message me, message your sponsor and say, oh my gosh, I just sent a message to someone I was so scared about. Oh my gosh, I just, posted something I've never done before. I just went live. I've never done that before, or I'm about to, will you get in and just watch it as it goes? Those are all really amazing things to celebrate. Sometimes we only celebrate rank ups because it's real quantitative. It's real easy to see, ads and rank ups and things like that. It's impossible to know what you're doing unless you're telling somebody, and that accountability and that community is really, really important. So I just want to challenge you every day, that thing that you're having that breakthrough on, that thing you're really proud of in your business. If you share it with somebody, it matters that much more. It means that much more. Just you'll hold on to it better. So, okay. We will see y'all later. See y'all tonight on the call with Christina and Brittany. I'm really excited to hear from them. Bye, y'all.